Greetings, my dear viewers. It is I, Drayhon, finally back from vacation, and we are now doing a Dungeons & Dragons character conversion celebrating no holidays. That's right. Guess what month it is? January. Last year, I had some videos in the month of January that said it was a birthday special. And this year of January 2022, I am doing that once again. I am doing a few videos that are themed around my interests. Because, guess what? It's my birth month, once again. Wow, it's already been a year. Feels like just last month I did those videos. Anyways, last year I did Aragon and Hiccup and Jake Long. A bunch of dragon-themed character builds, because those are my favorite types of topics. I love dragons. If my name, Drayhon, didn't give that away. This year, however, I am doing only 2 dragon-themed characters, and the other 2 are actually going to be, well, technically 3 of them are going to be themed around swords, because I like medieval weaponry. I would have a collection, but I don't have the type of money to get a collection together. Anyway, ranting. Today we are doing Cardfight Vanguard once again, but this time we are doing the Paladins. The Royal Paladin Blaster Blade and the Shadow Paladin Blaster Dark. They are opposite rival cards. I don't really know the whole entire story of why they're rivals. I just know that Blaster Blade and Blaster Dark are opposite fighters of, well, the same aspect. In fact, if I recall, there was a little bit of lore that was revealed on Blaster Dark that he used to be a Blaster Blade before he defected, I think. Anyway, something along those lines. Blaster Blade, Blaster Dark, Cardfight Vanguard. Let's get into it. Starting things off, we are going off of the point buy system for our stats. For Blaster Blade, Strength is going to be a 13, Dexterity will be a 10, Constitution a 15, Intelligence and Wisdom are both a 10, and Charisma is going to be a 14. For Blaster Dark, it's going to be the same stats for Constitution, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. 15, 10, 10, 14. However, we are switching Dexterity with Strength and having 10 Strength, 13 Dexterity. Moving on to race. As identified on the cards themselves, Blaster Blade and Blaster Dark are both human. So, that means we are going to be using the human race. I'm going to grab the human variant. For Blaster Blade, that means increasing the Strength score by 1 and the Constitution score by 1. For Blaster Dark, we are actually going to be doing the Dexterity and Constitution each by 1. Now, the humans get a 30 feet movement speed. We get a skill of choice. For Blaster Blade, that's going to be Acrobatics. For Blaster Dark, that's going to be Stealth. Because as it turns out, the Shadow Paladins are a really sneaky bunch. You couldn't really tell because of all that heavy armor, but if you could cooperate with your Dungeon Master, I would suggest grabbing some Mithril armor for your Blaster Dark. That way you can still be very sneaky while being extremely protected. Speaking of which, we're going to grab the feat of Heavy Armor Master. This gives us a +1 to our strength, but it also lets us, while wearing heavy armor, quote unquote there, we are able to reduce the damage from slashing, piercing, and bludgeoning weapons by 3, which is very useful. We also get languages in common and one of our choice. A lot of other races in the Royal and Shadow Paladin lines are Elvish, so grab Elvish, though there are also Giants, so if you can get a Giant language, that would work as well. Speaking of, we need to go with a background, which is going to be Order, Knight of the Order. They have Royal Paladin and Shadow Paladin, respectively, as their... what was it called? Region? Lineage? I don't remember the terminology. It's been a while since I watched the anime and actually played the game. But I do know that they are part of these groups. Royal Paladin for Blaster Blade, and Shadow Paladin for Blaster Dark. Anyways, for proficiencies, you'll get Persuasion and Arcana. For tools, proficiency, Dragon Chests. And languages, Draconic, and I'll explain a little bit more on that here in a moment. You also get the feature Knightly Regard. Starting things off with our classes, we're going to grab Paladin. I know, right? Who would have thought that a clan called Paladins would have Paladins in their organization? Go figure. Anyways, sarcasm aside, hit die is going to be a D10. For your proficiencies, you get the saving throws of Wisdom and Charisma. Skills will be Athletics, and depending on who you are, Blaster Blade, Insight, and Blaster Dark, Intimidation. You'll get Divine Sense and Lay on Hands. Not exactly useful for Blaster Dark, since you want to be killing a lot of things. I would have gone with a Rogue as his multi-class, but unfortunately they use Finesse weapons, or just anything that uses Dexterity. And unfortunately, Blaster Dark's gigantic blade is not a finesse weapon. If anything, that is a longsword. But more likely it's a great sword. If mithril weapons were a thing, I would recommend giving some weapons finesse properties for mithril. But that's besides the point. Moving on to level 2, we're going to grab the fighting style Interception. That is because the Blaster Blade and Blaster Dark were originally a grade 2 card, which had the ability Intercept. That's why we're grabbing Interception as our fighting style. Now, the Intercept ability for a Cardfight Vanguard was actually to protect your main unit, the Vanguard, which actually is what Interception does in Dungeons & Dragons as well. You act as a little bit of a protector. It's actually the protection fighting style, but beefed up, which I'm glad for. Anyway, spellcasting, you're using Charisma, and you also get Divine Smite, which is awesome. Now, for level 3 Paladins, we actually get Divine Health and a Sacred Oath. For Blaster Blade, that's going to be Oath of the Crown. However, if you are looking for, like, Blaster Blade Liberator or Blaster Blade Seeker, I would recommend also using Oath of Redemption, even though that is the worst, absolute worst subclass for the Paladin. So bad. And if you're looking for Starvader Blaster Joker, that would be the Oathbreaker Paladin. Which, yeah, not really a good one to be building off of, since he's kind of psycho in that card. I mean, I didn't get to the Starvader arc in the anime, but I'm going to guess that he's just complete psycho. Anyway, with Oath of the Crown, we get the Oath spells Command and Compelled Duel, which actually works in Blaster Blade's favor. We also get Channel Divinity of Champion Challenge and Turn the Tide, which actually also works in favor with Blaster Blade. Now, moving on to my favorite of the two, Blaster Dark, we're going to grab the Sacred Oath of Treachery, which unfortunately is Unearthed Arcana, which is a downright shame because this is amazing. This is the rogue archetype of the Paladins, which actually makes up for the fact that I can't go rogue with a multi-class on Blaster Dark. Anyway, the Oath of Treachery, which actually fits very well with how the Shadow Paladins operate, have the Oath spells Charm Person and Expeditious Retreat. You also get the Channel Divinity of Conjure Duplicate, which is very similar to the Echo Knight, if I remember looking at this ability correctly. And we get the Rogue move of Poison Strike. This is basically the Assassinate feature / sneak attack for the Paladin, but it actually works with Paladin abilities. And it deals extra poison damage in case the naming wasn't obvious. But this is an amazing subclass, and I wish it was brought out of Unearthed Arcana and into the canon? I don't know what to call that, but I wish it was no longer Unearthed Arcana. I want this to be a real subclass. I can actually see a very cool character using this subclass. I would use a tiefling for this subclass. Make a nice little build with it. Anyways, that aside, moving on to level 4 Paladins, we're going to go ahead and increase Blaster Blade's strength by 2 to make it a 17. And we're going to do the same with Blaster Dark's strength, making it a 13. Going on into level 5 Paladin, we get extra attack. And level 6 Paladins get Aura of Protection. Level 7 Paladins get Divine Allegiance if you are Oath of the Crown, and Aura of Treachery if you are the Oath of Treachery. You get Cool the Herd and a Treacherous Strike, which, again, awesome, perfect. I love this subclass. Anyway, moving on, level 8, we need the feat Durable. This will increase our Constitution by 1 point, making it a 17 on both counts. Moving forward, we're going to multi-class into Warlock for both Blaster Blade and Blaster Dark, and I'm going to explain each of them separately because they are using different patrons. For Blaster Blade, it's going to be Celestial. That is because of the Saver Dragon archetype. They are known as Cosmo Dragons, but they are very angelic in nature. Thing Saver Dragon, Life Saver Dragon, and Arc Saver, and there is a third one. I don't remember what it was. I think it was Light Saver Dragon. But all of these Saver Dragons have one thing in common, is that they're the Cosmo Dragons. And they are very angelic in nature, so having the otherworldly patron of Celestial actually makes sense. You get bonus cantrips in Light and Sacred Flame. You also get the Healing Light feature. And also Pact Magic uses your Charisma modifier, so no big difference there, and you only get a D8 for your hit die. For Blaster Dark, we are going with the otherworldly patron of the Fiend. And that is mostly due to the fact that Blaster Dark's two upgraded versions are Diablo and Abyss, calling out to Phantom Blaster Dragon, the main Mamma Jamma of the Shadow Paladins. And he is an Abyss Dragon, which sounds like he is a demonic dragon. No? Yes. Again, Charisma modifier for your Pact Magic. And I forgot to put in the feature for your Fiend Warlock, which, if I remember correctly, is Dark One's own luck. And I think I forgot to do the same thing for the Celestials. Oh, no, I did. Let's do the Celestials. Okay, so I just forgot to do the Fiend features. Forgive me. I thought I had this complete. But anyway, Dark One's Own Luck, and you also get some extra spells from it as well. Anyways, moving on to level 2 Warlock. For Blaster Blade, you'll get the Eldritch Invocations of Eldritch Smite and improved pack weapon. Once you reach level 8 Warlock, you'll need the following Eldritch Invocations: Eldritch Smite, improved pack weapon, Beast Speech, and Agonizing Blast. For Blaster Dark, same thing, but you're going to need the following invocations once you reach level 12 Warlock: Eldritch Smite, improved pack weapon, One with Shadows, Devil's Sight, Life Drinker, and Eyes of the Rune Keeper. Level 3 Warlocks get a Pact Boon. We're going with Pact of the Blade. Level 4 Warlocks will get an ability score improvement. Go ahead and round up your Strength and Constitution to 18 for Blaster Blade. For Blaster Dark, you're also rounding up your Constitution to 18, but you also need to round up your Strength to a 14, making it a pretty solid usage. That way you can use your sword a little bit better. Level 6 Warlocks of the Celestial get Radiant Soul, while the Fiend gets Dark One's Own Luck. Okay, so it was level 6 Dark One's Own Luck. What was level 1 Fiend Warlock then? I forget. Someone in the comment section down below remind me of what level 1 Fiend Warlocks get with their pact, because I can't remember for the life of me. Level 8 Warlocks gets another ability score improvement. You're going to increase your strength on Blaster Dark to 16, but for Blaster Blade, you're increasing your charisma to 16. Level 10 Warlocks for Blaster Dark get Fiendish Resilience thanks to their pact with the Fiend. Level 11 Warlocks get Mystic Arcanum, which lets you get a level 6 Warlock spell, and you can use it, I believe it was once per day. I don't remember. But you're going to need Investure of Flame for this one. And finally, level 12 Warlocks can get an ability score improvement or a feat. I would recommend grabbing the Skulker feat for extra sneakiness. Moving on to Blaster Blade, we're actually going in the opposite direction and going with Paladin, level 10. Aura of Courage is your feature. Level 11 Paladins get improved Divine Smite. And finally, level 12 Paladins get an ability score improvement. I would recommend grabbing the Charisma and increasing it to an 18. Though you can go with another feat and grab the Great Weapon Master, just because it's pretty cool. But we're going with that ability score improvement to cap off this build. I do hope you enjoyed, my dear viewers, and I do apologize that I made a couple of mistakes in this video. It's obvious on which one of the two blasters I would choose for my own personal usage, Blaster Dark. But both are still very good paladins, and very good characters in general. If there was a manga for just the different clans, then I would definitely read it to try to get more info on these guys. But until next time, this has been Drayhan, and I am offline.